Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. Why do I have Gladiator in the background? And that is because I want to talk about my deep concern that they may be hanking Gladiator more than I actually thought. Now, if you don't know what I mean when I say they're hanking it, this is in reference to Hank Pym and how long it took for that character to come out on a free-to-play event. There have been some things that have happened today and also in the Datamines to suggest that Gladiator will not be in next week's main event. And also, we know now 100% that Pocket Dimension or Shattered Dimension or whatever is going to be going live next week, which requires 3 Annihilators. So if you haven't been lucky enough to unlock one of the characters, whether it's Gladiator, Gore, or Thanos Endgame, who comes out on Friday, then you're absolutely effed. And you will not be able to do this because it requires 3 of them to start. We're going to talk about this and more. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Now, first things first, you may or may not have noticed this. I did, and I was... This was like the start of my concern today, actually, because it wasn't until probably about an hour ago, as of recording this, when I saw the data mines for next week. And if you go into the showcase for the Annihilation, you'll now see that basically Gladiator and Gore's showcase event, I don't know if this is a bug, but it was 46 days, right? It's 46 counting down. And previously, I believe it was 22, maybe. So they've almost doubled, or they have doubled the time remaining on the showcase event for all of them, right? They all have the same expiry date. And what is this? I saw this and I was like, oh boy, either this is a mistake, which they've somehow doubled the time for, or there's a reason for this. And I'm starting to believe that because this is an arena team, that they're FOMOing the shit out of this and pushing back that free-to-play event for Gladiator, because I was thinking about the name Old Enemies, right, which is next week, and it didn't sound... I mean, I was talking to someone else who you know, like, Gladiator's an old enemy of the X-Men, right? Like, maybe they could have swung that. But after seeing the data mines, it's not Gladiator. And I'm very concerned about how a lot of people are going to complete the Pocket Dimension without having a third character, because the arena orbs are RNG fiestas. And so, you know, the only reason why I have Gladiator is because I spent power cores on him to open those orbs, right? I don't have Gore, and I probably won't have Thanos Endgame unless I get some sort of lucky jackpot. So this is absolute insanity. This was the first step, right? So, you know, very, very quickly, I do want to bring up my character spreadsheet. I want to, you know, when I said they're hanking it, what did I mean? Just for people who haven't been keeping up. So it actually, you know what? It's probably gonna be worse. There's gonna be a new term. They're gladiatoring it now. So Hank Pym was released on the 11th of July, and his free-to-play event was on the 5th of August. So I think there's 30 days in July, maybe. Is there 31? I don't know. Anyways, so about, like, let's say 20 plus 5. So like it's like 24, 25 days, right? You know, and so that was pretty long, because previously for some of the other characters, I forgot to write it down for Alpha Flight, actually. But for Spider Society and for Pandapool and Dawkins, like, it was essentially like, it's less than 2 weeks. Previously, it was less than 2 weeks. Sometimes, you know, within 10 days. And so the fact that they're now going to 3.5 to maybe 4+ weeks between the original offer and the free-to-play event is absolute insanity. So we do not have a date yet for Gladiator, and I'm concerned that this is going to get pushed back even more. I'm not sure how this is going to then be reflective of Gore and Thanos, but I know that this is going to be a spiral. That wasn't the right word. You know, basically that, you know, as things take longer to release free to play, that means all the other characters are going to get impacted by this, right? So when it comes to the Orcus team that comes out, which is going to be very soon, right? Because Thanos's offer is on Friday. That means right after that, we're preparing for the new characters, probably Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, and Sentinel. You know, whatever order they decide to release in are going to be basically the first week of September. And so those free-to-play release character events are then going to be pushed back even further because of what they're doing with Gladiator, and it's just going to be a snowball, I guess, maybe might have been a better term there. And so I want to kind of dive into the data mines here and kind of take a look. Let's can I zoom in one more? There we go. So coming soon, old enemies. It's related to Shattered Dimension and using the Annihilators in war. Good luck, right? I mean, like, because if you have two of them, like, fucking, I don't know what kind of fucking points you're gonna get out of this. Commander, old enemies milestone. Gain progress in this 7-day event. So even though this week is an 8-day event, looks like this is gonna start on next Tuesday, and it's only gonna be a 7-day event. I thought that they were trying to move it like away out of Cosmic Crucible's start time. I don't know, or were there during the trial periods. Who knows? By collecting dimensional anomalies, and this is going to be, I think, some currency that's going to be rewarded on the nodes from the Shattered Dimension, battling in war with the Annihilators, and completing the Old Grudges web milestone. Earn incredible rewards, including T3 ISO 8 crystals and ions, radioactive treats, which is still there, and Crimson skill gear. Now, this is interesting. I think this is probably just in the milestone. There is some indication this could be a leaderboard event because it should be, right. Normally every 2 weeks there is one. However, the text doesn't specifically state that. You'll also earn points towards the Annihilator Initiative milestone by collecting Cosmic Power and the Twilight Sword. And then if you are level 65 and above, you get access to Dark Dimension in the Epic campaign. Look for Shattered Dimension, basically. And then the web milestone is spending Incursion energy and Battle in Blitz. Normally, the web milestones are not super difficult, so I don't expect this to be that challenging. To be rewarded with extra dimensional anomalies and bonus progress in the old enemies and Annihilator Initiative events. But the points is slightly different. So this is in the Datamines too, that they show, what you get points for. That would be, for example, what they show in the Datamines would be like Cosmic Threat, like with the scoring, the scoreboard. This is what they show essentially in the in the Datamines files. And it says points: collect one dimensional anomaly. Okay, fine. One war battle with an Annihilator character. Use Gladiator in war. Gladiator at 5, 6, and 7 yellow. Separate points, so it's like 5, 6. I didn't want to keep repeating the same thing. Use Gore in war. Gore at 5, 6, 7. Thanos endgame in war. Thanos at 5, 6, 7. Spend one power core. This one's interesting because it wasn't specifically stated anywhere in the text suggesting that there was going to be power core usage in this. Subject to change, possibly, maybe. But if this is a leaderboard event, that might be something compelling, right? Because Diamond Claws also had power cores in it. I'm not sure if it did have mention of that actually in the Datamine. So I'm going to go scroll back up to see if I can find that afterwards to see how accurate this may or may not be. And the web had spend Incursion energy, Battle and Blitz, and also earn 1 alliance credit. So that wasn't mentioned in the text either, but normally there's not 3 inputs to a web milestone. I don't think that that's usually the case. And then coming soon, Cosmic Dominance, Battle in War. So they're doing an alliance-based 6-day milestone. Funny enough, it does say to earn Wilderness Expedition progress, which was the Sasquatch one. They fucked up the text yet again because, they can't edit things very well. And so why this is important is if you guys haven't been keeping up with what's going on in the game, we have Pocket Dimension coming out next week. Now, we understand what the nodes are through the Datamines, and they've kind of mentioned this, right? I think I've definitely talked about this in a previous video. And it requires 3 Annihilator characters. They're essentially taking over for Cabal. So they haven't updated the map. I think it's the exact same map that we saw for the temporal dimensions, where it was Illuminati and Cabal. I think the Annihilators are just taking over the Cabal nodes, and that's basically it. And it says require 3 Annihilators at gear tier 14, 15, and 16. You do need a handful of them at 18 later on. Same with the Illuminati. They're going to probably just use the same node. If you've done this before, right, then it's probably the same nodes. Gear tier 3 at gear tier 14, 15, 16. Illuminati and Legendary, Illuminati and Mythic. Annihilator and Legendary, Annihilator and Mythic, gear tier 17. But in these ones, you actually don't need to use any of the team. You could just use entirely Legendary and Mythic. However, the final nodes do require Annihilator and Illuminati at gear tier 18. So you need 5 of them between the 2 teams at gear tier 18. So make sure you do have this. But you can't do any of this without 3 of them. And there's no mention of Gladiator shards. It's possible that honestly that the text doesn't state it and somehow it's just chucked in there. But normally when it comes to these, like the Hank Pym event, the Quantum Disco said specifically in his event in the text and we're going to scroll up actually and look at some of these older ones and what they said about it. So I'm looking for specifically Diamond Claws and Quantum Disco. So I'm going to scroll back. There's been a lot of stuff, orchestrated stuff. What's here? The Cosmic Threat, actually that was this, right? I'm gonna go back a bit further here. Weekend Arena Warriors. Recruit Old Man Logan. Diamond Claws. Okay, did it talk about power cores in here? Game progress in this. It did, actually. It says spending campaign energy and power cores. So, whether or not, and did it say that there was a leaderboard? I don't. Oh, it did, actually. So, maybe there is no leaderboard next week. Maybe there's no spending power core function. I'm not entirely sure. This is where sometimes things change because they screw up in terms of their own text, and this could be subject to change. But know that they put that in there, so there very well could be a power core spending feature next week. But I don't know if it's going to be a leaderboard. It would suggest that there would be because they've had one every 2 weeks for a while. The other thing that I will want to take a look at is Quantum Disco, because Quantum Disco was the Hank Pym event. I do want to. Yeah, there was a lot. Was it really? Before? Oh, here we go. Quantum Disco. Game progress. Yeah, and rewards including Hank Pym shards. So the text for old enemies for next week does not indicate that there is Gladiator shards in here. And this makes me very concerned. Are they legitimately considering running a pocket dimension without actually having the free-to-play events? Very concerning. Doubled with the increased, well, the doubling actually, of the showcase timer, alarm bells are ringing off for me. And, as someone who tries to keep up and does keep up with what's going on in the free-to-play realm, because I have numbers, I track these things, I know like when things are happening and when they're not happening. Are they legitimately expecting, or are these orbs supposed to be Gladiator's release method? They previously said that it was not. However, the fact that Gladiator is contained within all three orbs, the Gladiator, the Gore, and the Thanos orb, does that mean that they're skipping a Gladiator free-to-play event because he's in all three of the orbs? Whereas, for example, Gore obviously is not in the Gladiator orb because it was, before, he wasn't released at that point, right? So it makes me wonder that there's more opportunities technically to get Gladiator shards through all of the other team orbs, that maybe they've just decided to skip him as a free-to-play release event, or they've just really, really fucking delayed these events intentionally. I don't know which it is, but I'm not. I'm concerned. I'm concerned for everyone. I'm concerned for you guys. Now, I have Gladiator, so I'm going to be able to do the Shattered Dimension. I cored for Gladiator. I skipped Gore. I did not core for Gore. I used the Diamond Claw bonus points for power cores to buy Gladiator, or not to buy his core orbs, right? And so I can do that. But now I'm broke. Also, I don't have very many cores left, and I probably won't be able to do that for Thanos. I won't have enough to get him unlocked. What does this all mean? It could mean that Scopely is preparing to F us. There could be something that I'm missing, and it very well could be subject to change. But everything that I've seen so far makes me concerned, and I would love to know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments down below. Do you think that this could happen? Do you think that they're preparing to release a Pocket Dimension without actually having any of the free-to-play events for any of the Annihilator characters? Because if so, that is not going to end very well. That's just it for now. Hopefully you enjoyed my data mines, and of course there's going to be more videos to come on the Boilon channel. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.